you're probably seeing the title of this video and thinking, what the heck is he talking about? Well, allow me to explain. Basically, what this list is going to be about is the top 10 things in video games that once you experience it at least once, you will do whatever you can in your power to never experience it again. If you're still confused, well, you'll see once the list starts going. And as usual, basic rules apply. One per franchise and only from games I've played. However, there's one more rule that shall come into play. To be on the list, the moment must not be mandatory in beating the game. For example, as much as I want to put the Great Maze from Super Smash Bros. Brawl on the list, it has to be played through in order to beat the Subspace Emissary, so it doesn't count. Without further said, let us commence. Marvel vs. Capcom 3. A fun, fast-paced fighting game that I sincerely enjoy. However, there's one thing I must admit when it comes to MVC3. I absolutely suck at it. And nowhere is this more evident than at the game's arcade mode boss, Galactus. The battle is quite challenging and, at times, rather cheap, especially with Galactus' laser attack that covers the entire screen. However, if you fail to beat Galactus, which you probably will on your first try, and you choose not to continue, instead of getting just a game over screen, you also unlock Galactus' ending. And quite honestly, I would have preferred the game over screen by itself. Galactus' ending is one of the most humiliating things to ever experience in a video game. In a nutshell, Galactus calls you a mere speck of dust and explains how your presence was a mere delay to the destruction of both the Marvel and Capcom worlds. And then he tries to reassure you not to be ashamed for your loss because it was against him. Was that really necessary, Capcom? The moment I saw this, I absolutely refused to get a game over against Galactus ever again. But that's the reason why it's only number 10. As long as you choose continue after losing to Galactus, you won't have to experience this. So for some people, they don't even know this exists. But either way, it's still insulting to have to go through this, which made it all the more satisfying when I finally beat him. And then they made him playable in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. So satisfying! Wow, here's another game you never really see me talk about, Diddy Kong Racing. Okay, yeah, it was on top 15 racing games, but even then, I didn't talk about it, Quarter Guy did. But let's not get distracted. One of the crown reasons that Diddy Kong Racing was such a great racing game was the adventure mode, which, at the time, was completely uncommon for a racing game, but Diddy Kong Racing did it just right. However, it also introduced some of the biggest one more try moments in video games, including the silver coin challenges and, as we're about to cover, the infamous boss battles. These bosses were tough. You were expected to have mastered the different vehicles at this point. If you hadn't, then the bosses would be sure to pour salt on your wounds. I'm just gonna put this out there, losing to the bosses in this game sucks. Why do you ask? Well, it's simple. Unlike most boss fights in video games in which you just die and you have to restart, here you get a cutscene in which the boss rubs your failure in your face and mocks you for it. But the worst part about these cutscenes? They're unskippable! This means that every time you lose, you have to see those humiliating cinematics. And judging by how hard these boss fights are, you'll be seeing these scenes a lot. My eyes are looking straight at you, bubbler. Let's just say that it was so satisfying when I finally beat them. Just to have to do the hair-pulling silver coin challenges, only to have to fight even harder versions of the bosses. Well, thank goodness TT exists. Ha! Can't stop me now, sucker! Well, it's time to get back into a game that I've caused some great controversy with, that being Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Now look, the only reason I find this game disappointing is just because I had really high expectations for it, and they just didn't meet said expectations. It's not a bad game, I just expected too much from it. But let's get back to business. One of the elements that have been hit or miss for Brawl players is the assist trophies. These helpful items can summon a non-playable character to help you in battle for a short period of time. And while some of these assist trophies can be quite useful, then there are those assist trophies that affect everyone, including the one who summoned him. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Whenever one of these assist trophies appear, you just can't help but groan in frustration. Let me list some examples for you. First off, there's the Nintendog, which was the first ever assist trophy seen in Brawl. Okay, yes, it was cute the first time around, but after that, it got annoying. Then there's Rossetti from Animal Crossing, who does nothing but whine about pointless crap. You know, just like he always does. But easily, the worst of all these assist trophies is that freaking devil! Words cannot describe how much I hate this little thing. and not just because I'm a Christian. For those who don't know, what the devil does is float in midair, and with the point of a finger, he moves the camera, which at first doesn't seem so bad, until he scrolls the camera so far and so low to the point that you're getting off-screen damage. Alright, Sakurai, listen to me when I say this. If you're gonna bring back the assist trophies in Smash Bros. 4, do one of the following. Either A, have it so you can choose which assist trophies will appear, kind of like with the items, or B, get rid of the all-effective assist trophies. Nobody likes them! Well, it's time to blow some minds today. While I absolutely love action-packed franchises like Kingdom Hearts, Mega Man X, and of course Final Fantasy, there are times when I need a series of more relaxed or casual video games. And for me, that series would be Harvest Moon. While it may not seem like it at first, this series of farm simulators is actually a lot of fun. Raising animals, making friends, getting married, it's all a blast. However, one thing that truly stands out as both something I can praise and criticize in Harvest Moon is its morality system. By that, I mean that not everything and everyone in these games will last. There are characters in some games that end up dying as the game goes on, like Nina from A Wonderful Life. Characters move away and sometimes never come back. And then there's number 7 on this list. Having an animal die. Words cannot describe how sad of a moment this can be. Even though this is more of a casual game, it's not a do-whatever-you-want sort of game. There are still responsibilities you must uphold, and raising your animals is one of them. So seeing an animal of yours pass away is an upsetting feeling, to say the least. But you know what's even worse? In almost every Harvest Moon game, there are elf-like beings called the Harvest Sprites, who are meant to help you through the game in numerous ways. But when an animal dies, they'll rub it into your face and basically make you feel even more guilty for what you've done. Let's just say that after this happened to me the first time, I was not going to let it happen again. Fortunately, it hasn't happened to me since, but still, the first experience was bad enough. However, to leave this segment on a happier note,
get a load of this!
It's the Bowser space from Mario Party. Oh man, the Bowser space. Anyone who has played a Mario Party game knows where I'm going with this, but if you haven't, allow me to explain. You know of all the legendary myths about Mario Party? The heavy basing on luck, the destruction of friendships, the minigames that physically hurt people? Well, the Bowser space has been one of the key reasons behind these legends. Whenever you land on this cursed space, Bowser will appear and absolutely ruin your experience in some way depending on the game. In some games, he might force you to play minigames at the cost of losing a lot if you fail, while in others, he spins the wheel and gives you a brutal punishment. These punishments can vary from cursed mushrooms to coin and star stealing to the infamous Bowser communism, Bowser Revolution. But in my personal experiences, the area where he was at his worst was in Mario Party 8, where he would tamper with obtaining the star somehow, and he would linger around until someone either landed on a DK space or got to him. Let's just say that once you've experienced the Bowser space, you'll do whatever you can to never, ever land on it again. So you're playing an Oddworld game. You're near the end, you're having fun, when all of a sudden... Oh, hey, a cutscene. This must be the ending. Yep, this is definitely the ending. So, how is Abe gonna get out of this situation? Maybe the Mudokons will use their powers to save him. Wait, what? They don't want to help Abe? What? If there's one thing you need to know about the Oddworld series, is that almost every game in the series has both a good ending and a bad ending. And as you can see, the bad endings are some of the most mortifying things to be present in a video game. Getting dropped into a meat grinder, getting electrocuted to death, getting your lungs cut out? Who comes up with these things? You know what? Let's just go to the next entry, please, quickly. Now, if you know me, then you know that one element of video games I absolutely hate is stealth. I don't know why, but sneaking around and trying not to get caught has never been my forte in video games. However, one stealth mission I've enjoyed in a game is the Agent 9 missions from Spyro Attack of the Rhinox. This is because they're treated more like secret agent platformers, which I like. However, the stealth is inevitable, and in this game, getting caught really sucks. You see, when you get caught, you're dead. There's no escaping it. If you get spotted, you're going to the last checkpoint. However, this leads to a problem. The stealth missions have little to no checkpoints. This means that a poorly placed capture could lead you to going back almost halfway through the stage. Let me just tell you, that's not fun at all. Really, there's not much more to say, except I wouldn't mind seeing Agent 9 make a comeback in a future Spyro game. That is, if they decide to make an actual Spyro game and not another pointless Skylanders game. You know, I've noticed a very common theme in this countdown. Me talking about games I normally don't talk about. And to continue this recurring theme, we now have Animal Crossing. While I prefer Harvest Moon when it comes to casual life simulators, I still enjoy Animal Crossing here and there. And before you ask, no, I have not played Animal Crossing New Leaf. I'm saving up for other games, you know. Back on topic. Anyways, all is good in Animal Crossing, but then something comes up. It doesn't really matter what it is, but because of this, you're forced to turn off the game without saving. Big mistake! The next time you boot up your file of Animal Crossing, you get an uninvited guest. An annoying mole by the name of Rossetti. Yeah, anyone who's had to deal with this nuisance is now probably getting terrifying memories of this monstrosity. Basically, Rossetti always shows up when you reset your game or turn it off without saving. And what does he do? Whine and moan about it, that's how. However, the first time around, he does let you off the hook. If this becomes recurring, on the other hand, he's not going to be nearly as merciful. Heck, sometimes he'll force you to type in phrases in order to continue playing, and some of these phrases can be downright insulting. Not to mention, Rossetti, as mentioned earlier on in the list, is an all-effective assist trophy in Brawl, where all he does, as per usual, is whine and moan. Honestly, Rossetti's presence always ruined my Animal Crossing experience, and this is why I play Harvest Moon more, because it doesn't have a character like him! If you were to ask someone who liked the Sonic Adventure games what they liked about it, they'll probably end up bringing the fabled Chow Garden. Okay, how many life simulators am I going to talk about on this list? Seriously. But I digress. The Chow Garden is honestly one of the main reasons that people's playtime hours on the adventure games are so freaking high. Raising Chow is one of the most fun experiences to have in a Sonic game, and a lot of people agree with me. However, this comes at a cost. Because video games do not have endless space, you can only raise so many Chow. And for people like me who like to constantly buy new Chow eggs so I can re-experience the entertainment of raising an infant Chow to an adult Chow, this brings up a major problem. So this leaves you to only one option. You have to let one of your Chow out into the wilderness. Yeah, anyone who's experienced this before can agree that saying goodbye to a Chow hits harder than a wave of feels. It's not just the sad cartoon picture of the Chow leaving that makes it so depressing, or even the fact that you have to send a Chow away to the wild. Yes, they are key factors, but let's be honest, what made this such an impact is that freaking music. When you hear that song, you just get a huge tug on your heartstrings, and for most people, this is when they said, "Screw raising new Chow, I'm not getting rid of you." Now, only one question still stays on my mind. What is the Chow's life like out in the wilderness? I regret asking that. Well, Crash Bash. What can I say about this game? How about that it's addicting, challenging, and a Mario Party-like game done right? Heck, there's sometimes I think it did better than Mario Party. For example, the story's better, albeit only by a little, and the adventure mode is actually quite a lot of fun. Sure, this game is so hard it gives the NES Castlevania trilogy a run for its money, but the amount of entertainment you get from this game is all worth it in the end. But wait, we're missing something, aren't we? Yes, we are. I've yet to mention the most infamous thing about this game. The one thing that everyone who has played this game remembers. The one thing that is so renowned that I'm surprised it's not even a meme yet. It's the #1 thing in video games that you never want to see, but no matter what effort you make, you will see it. A lot. And let's be honest, you all know what it is at this point. Just play it. Honestly, how could this not be #1? I mean, come on. It's something so humiliating that once you see it, you'll do whatever you can to avoid it. But as mentioned before, you can't avoid it, because it's there every time you lose a level, which you will do at least once through your playthrough of the game. The game's not just telling you that you failed. It's slapping you across the face with a fail hammer and having what sounds like the voice of Shao Kahn vocally remind you of what just happened. It's inevitable, but it pretty much forces you to try harder and prevent its presence yet again. And that cements it at number 1 on this list. I'm the one-winged angel, and I've been able to accept this so much that I've turned it into my meme.